Hi everyone, I'm Clever and welcome back to the Clever Report. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll be notified anytime I drop another video. Since last year, we've been following the news that happened in Texas. The black guy Anthony KARMELO that murdered this white boy Austin Metcalf at a track meet. It's basically a school event. Since last year it has caused stir online. The one of the most disheartening things about this whole issue is that black people rallied around. I'm not saying all black people, but a majority of people in the black community rallied around this murderer. They rallied around him, and with gifts, they actually opened a GoFundMe and raised almost $1 million. Yes, I understand there's a difference between somebody not being guilty to proven guilty or convicted in a court of competent jurisdiction. Everybody has a chance to defend he or herself in court. I understand, but the black people were not donating this money because they wanted him to have fair representation. They were donating this money because they had deep hatred for white people. They were donating this money because they endorsed what he did. This boy, the facts of the case, he went at a school event, a track meet event, and Anthony KARMELO, or KARMELO Anthony, whatever his name is, went to a tent where he was not supposed to be. And then Austin Metcalf and his brother and other people actually told him, the witness statement in the court proceedings said he was told to leave the place 15 times. He was told to leave the place 15 times. And then he basically shoved him a little and then he stabbed him in his chest. Now, some people are, his defense, we are saying it was self-defense and everything. It is very, very crazy. It is very crazy if we live in a world that if somebody shoves you and then your appropriate response is to shoot the person or actually stab the person to death, that means everybody will be dying every day because people kick people, people shove people mistakenly, in the world every day. So at first, there was this large sentiment, black people processing outside the courtroom and saying all sorts of vile things to the white people.
Man, fuck white lives. How about that? How about that? I'm saying that. Because y'all want to play these games. Y'all want to play these crackhead games, so I'm going to play them. Fuck white lives. How about that? How about that?
These people were not coming there to show solidarity to Anthony KARMELO. They were coming there to show how racist and how biased and how they hated white people. It is very, very crazy. Now, the jury, decided to convict him of murder and sentence him to 35 years imprisonment. Basically, if it's left to me, I will say this guy should rot in prison for life. Because if he's going to come out after 17 years, he's eligible for parole. And this guy, the mother of Austin Metcalf, the family, the father, and the twin brother, they've lost their brother for life. They've lost their son for life. He will not have a future in this world anymore. Now, some people are making the argument saying that it's a double tragedy. Two families have lost their sons. But I'm sorry, at least one is alive. One is alive. You're able to visit him in prison, and he might probably be on parole and get out on parole in the next 17 years. So it is not the same. It is not the same. I genuinely think that these people supporting us, KARMELO Anthony outside the courthouse just at the account of their skin color are just a bunch of retards. And it brings to a larger conversation in the black community. These young boys are taught to hate white people. They are taught to see white people as the enemy. And this hate is being groomed while they are, when they are actually little, and then they grow into adults in society, and they're outside the courthouse like these people, like as if they don't have any job, protesting and saying all sorts of vile things to white people. There's a couple of videos I saw, and one of the women, she was saying, what do they expect her to tell her sons?
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for it. I don't know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more. You can't walk away no more.
Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin.
It's crazy. Okay, how about telling your sons not to bring a knife or a murder weapon to a friendly school event? How about telling your sons not to stab people on the chest when there is the slightest altercation? How about that? But everybody's preaching, especially these black people are preaching to their choir. They're thinking with their skin color. This boy murdered Austin Metcalf in cold blood. I even think genuinely that maybe the jury came up with, or they just gave him 35 years to squash down the incoming protest and burning of building and everything from black people. But I genuinely think that 35 years is a slap on the wrist. 35 years is a slap on the wrist for this vile criminal, this thug that murdered somebody. I think the family failed him because they wanted to play into this whole narrative of black people being oppressed and systemic racism and everything. If this boy had taken a plea deal, if he had taken a plea deal, maybe, just maybe, he would have gotten a lesser sentence. But the family made a huge spectacle out of it, bought escalates, like basically rented new apartment or a new house, bought a new house with the money realized from these boys' ordeal. It is crazy. This family failed him, and I see black people just chimping out, just being obnoxious outside the courtroom, calling white people all sorts of. I genuinely think in 2026 in the United States, I genuinely think black Americans are more racist than white Americans. Because if you look at, let's analyze the issue. If you're a white American and you say the N word, probably lose your job, you become stigmatized in the society, even if there's a context of you saying it. But black people abuse them, call them the C word, call them crackers and everything, but nothing happens to them. They openly state that they hate white people. When you talk about white lives matter, they don't even care. They don't care. So I am actually happy justice has been served. I'm actually happy this boy is spending like basically half of his adult life in prison. We should remove this kind of talks out of society. On Twitter, they were abusing me, people from the black American community in the United States, telling me that I am not from there, I'm a slave to the white people, everything. Yes, even though I'm not from there, I'm able to cover the news because it's an international news that has made headlines since last year. But the vile things they were saying to me, somebody, because I have the same skin color, but I don't agree with their stupid warped politics they play using their skin color as reference. I don't agree that a 19-year-old or 18-year-old black boy should be able to stab another white kid or even anybody and be able to get away with murder like that, because I don't agree with that. They've abused me on Twitter. They've called me all sorts of names. They've told me that I'm just being a puppet to the master. I should go back to my country and I'm a dirty African. I'm even Nigerian. All sorts of that. I don't care. The fact remains that Austin Carmelo, or Carmelo Austin, or Carmelo Anthony rather, is a violent thug and should be removed from society. And the other fact remains that Austin Metcalf has lost his life at the hands of this violent thug, and his family will not see him again. And I'm so happy, the family is having some sort of closure. In amidst all this abuse hurled at them from the black community. And I saw some crazy individuals calling themselves Black Panthers parading around the courthouse, threatening violence and all sorts of things.
Boy, been before an all-black jury. Tell us, media. Tell us, white folks. When there's a white boy been before all-black jury. Never.
How is it murder?
This is what, you know why? You know why?
Okay?
Because you know what? Whatever the verdict is.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion here.
Just like Carmelo was doing. I'm glad you just said that. That's what Carmelo was doing. Protecting his motherfucking self.
Confirming all the negative stereotypes. Yeah, they make the black skin color, make people ashamed of the black skin color around the world. These black Americans, they live in the most privileged society in the world, but still, they cry racism, behave like dogs, behave like unruly, and they can't even speak the English language properly. It is very, very crazy. Privilege is invisible to those who have it. And when you are used to be treated like a separate class or a privileged class, when there is a form of equality, you think it is oppression. It is crazy. So I pray for the happy repose of Austin Metcalf. I pray for his family so that they will have closure, they will get closure. But I am happy Carmelo Anthony is going to spend at least 35 years in prison. So this vile thug is removed from society.